أمورنا ميسرة، نحن وكل المسلمين. الله يا عظيم، أنت العظيم، قادر لنا أمر عظيم، وكل همنا عظيم. الله يا عظيم، أنت العظيم، قادر لنا أمر عظيم، وكل أمر همنا يهون باسمك يا عظيم، يهون باسمك يا عظيم، يهون باسمك يا عظيم. يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع، وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع. يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع، وارضى بقضاء الله اجعل أمورنا ميسرة نحن وكل المسلمين. الله يا عظيم أنت العظيم قادر لنا أمر عظيم وكل همنا عظيم. الله يا عظيم أنت العظيم قادر لنا أمر عظيم وكل أمر همنا يهون باسمك يا عظيم يهون باسمك يا عظيم يهون باسمك يا عظيم. يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع. يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع هذا في علم الله.
Right, shall we start? What are we doing today? What's that? We're going to Medina. I mean, you should go to Makkah first. So we're talking about Hajj. Does anybody have a board rubber? Paper or something? A thick question. Does anybody have a tissue? Yeah? Someone's taken all the board rubbers. Right, last week we talked about zakat, didn't we? And I told you the method of how to take out the zakat, which I really didn't do actually. Or did I do it? I told you the threshold, didn't I? Yes? But I didn't tell you how much the zakat was. Yes, we roughly gave like a threshold of, for silver was around £200. What was it? Here it is. No, it wasn't this one, it was the other one. So it was about roughly £200. £252, right? So it was 2.5% of that. So what is that? Come on, you might say 200.
£2.52 and £2.2,
£6.25. £6.25, according to Hamza, is the zakat. And we said for gold was? What was the threshold for gold?
We call it 3,000.
I think it was 2,000 or something. Yeah, we rounded up to 3,000, didn't we? So what would the zakat be there? 2.5?
75.
What's that? £75. MashaAllah. £75 would be the zakat. That's how you do it. Okay? Don't just give the £3,000. Okay? I think I forgot to mention that. I'm not sure. Yeah? I think we got so caught with calculating the threshold that we forgot to mention that how much you actually pay from the zakat. Hajj is simple. It's easy in theory. It's just specific actions during a specific time in a specific month, and it's fard once in a lifetime, as you all know. Normally we do a Hajj seminar closer to Hajj, and somebody's got the Hajj and Umrah guide, inshallah, which is through that. We do the seminars through that book. We normally go through the tasawwuf of Hajj, then we go into the fara'id and wajib and things like this, and then the method. That's how we started off, but I think the first time we did it, it lasted like 3 hours, I think, or 3 or 4 hours. Then we cut it down just to the method of Hajj, and about an hour. I've cut it down to an hour now. So we're basically doing something more or less similar in terms of theory rather than practical. In terms of the conditions of Hajj, first of all, for it to be fard upon a person, similar conditions: Islam, having intellect, being mature, being free here in this case. The time of Hajj has to be right, and this one's the most important here, is to have strength upon expenditure. Yes, we call it Zad, which is you should have enough money to get you there, cover your costs there and back. Yes, and if you have people depending upon you, for example, if it's a male, a male, okay, who leaves his wife behind and his children, okay, then he needs to have enough money, not only for his journey there, living in Makkah, okay, and then coming back, but also he needs to leave enough money behind for his wife and his children, okay, that makes sense? If any of them can't be completed, then Hajj will not be fard upon the person, okay. So, for example, and the time is taking as well. Yes. So, if he's going away for a month, then he needs to leave enough money behind for a month, and also have enough money for himself to go there and back and cover all his costs. Yes. An average. Yes. So, for example, he's leaving his wife for a month, then he needs to do like an average estimation. Yes. Not that she says that while you're gone, I'm going to go on a shopping spree. So, I need £1 million for you to leave behind. No, nothing like that. Something that's average, that can cover the cost of the house, whatever that is that she deals with. And that's necessary. Like I said, if it's not covered, then in this case what happens is Hajj will not be fard upon a person. As it comes to the lady, she just has to worry about herself in terms of her Hajj. She just needs enough money to get there and back, okay, in terms of money. Also having strength, having the capability to have a vehicle to get you there and back as well. In this day and age is going to be what mode of transport? Plane, yes. A plane should get you there and back, so meaning tickets. Yes, you should be able to afford the ticket there and back, meaning that comes in. If you can't afford the ticket, Sharia does not ask of you to walk from England all the way to Makkah and do your Hajj. Okay, the mode of transport is also part of this. Now look at this way, you might be able to borrow a plane. For example, you have a rich friend and he allows you to fly the plane there, or borrow whatever mode of transport. Yes, it still won't be fard upon you. Yes, it still won't be fard upon you.
If you do complete it,
The fard is done
done.
as an adult. The fard is done if you do complete it. If somebody gave you a free plane ticket, for example, then your Hajj will be done. Your fard Hajj will be done, but it won't be fard upon you if you couldn't afford it. Okay. Further on, we said that the expenditure has to be extra of your actual needs as well. Okay. So same like zakat, to pay zakat, for zakat to be fard, you have to minus all your needs. Then same thing here, we're looking at the savings, that you have enough money to take you there and back and look after your family while you're gone. Yes, but after you have taken care of your needs that you need to spend while you might be gone. So that's when Hajj becomes fard upon a person. And he just gives the explanation of what actual needs are, the place you live in, the furniture you have that you need, your professional tools, yes, that people might have in their professions that you have to pay for. If you're a takeaway worker, for example, you need a new pizza machine, yes, that'll come under it. Paying off loans, yes, so things like this need to be taken. We generally get asked the question, if you have loans upon your head, then can you perform Hajj? Yes? The answer is that if you have loans upon you that are such that if you were to pay them, if you were to spend everything in terms of giving towards that loan, you would sell everything and still not be able to pay the loan off, then in that case we'd say Hajj will not be really fard upon a person. But if you do Hajj, then alhamdulillah the Hajj is done. In both scenarios that I'm going to mention. For example, there's a loan, for example, like your mortgage. Now it's such that you have a monthly, and they don't really mind if you spend somewhere else, because that's how they operate. They don't really, as long as you pay your mortgage on time, your monthly, they're not too bothered about if you've bought a Ferrari or gone on to Hajj. Yes, so there's no need of asking them, because the urf, our society is based on that they don't mind you spending elsewhere. Yes. But then there might be a loan which you have, for example, lower level type of loans, where you might have borrowed like 1,000, 2,000 pound of people around you, and then they might mind you going on Hajj when you haven't paid them. Yes. So those type of people, then you will have to ask them, yes, that I have this money, you have a right over it, because it's a savings, isn't it? Yes, it's a savings, you have right over it, but if you allow, I can pay you 2-3 months down the line, let me go on Hajj with this money. If he allows it, then you go on Hajj. Even if he doesn't allow it, Hajj is still done. Yes, it's just disliked for you to go in that state. Okay. So that's a general question my guest asked. They say that knowledge of Hajj being fard is necessary, but similarly, as what we said last time, that when you are living in non-Muslim land, then knowledge is necessary. But if you're living in Muslim land, then just living in Muslim land suffices, because in Muslim land, this should be the talk of that month. Yes, Hajj. There are conditions, Hajj might be fard upon you, but is it necessary for you to perform it? As in, is it wajib now for you to perform it? If these conditions are fulfilled, then it's wajib for you to perform it. So you might meet all of the conditions previously, but the performance of Hajj is that wajib upon you. We have 5 conditions. Sihatul badan, have to be healthy. Yes, healthy enough to go to Hajj. And there shouldn't be any obstacles from stopping you from going to Hajj. Yeah. Physical obstacles. Like, it'll come in the next one as well, but like war and things like this.
A wall.
Yeah, a wall. Or amnu tariq, for your way to Makkah to be safe. Yes. So if there's a war in between and you can't get, or the way you're going is known to be a dangerous way where people get looted and things like this, then that's good enough excuse for the performance of Hajj not to be necessary upon you. That means that you don't have to perform Hajj then. Admu qiyamil iddah, for women, they cannot be in the state of iddah. That's either the iddah of divorce or if the husband dies. They cannot be going through that. So you can't do Hajj if the lady is going through iddah. Another one, khuruju mahramin. For a lady again, a mahram to go with her. Okay. If this condition is not fulfilled, a mahram cannot go with the lady to Hajj, then Hajj is not necessary for her to perform. Okay. It's not necessary for her to perform in that case when she doesn't have a mahram. That mahram could be through milk relations. Yes. Milk relations are a lady gives milk to a child, then whoever else she gave milk to, the children that she gave milk to become milk brothers and sisters. Yes. For example, Sayyidina Amir Hamza was the uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was the uncle, but he was also the milk brother of the Prophet. Okay, he was also the milk brother of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which meant that when Sayyidina Amir Hamza was martyred, his daughters were obviously left orphan. And then some of the Sahaba Ikram said to the Prophet ﷺ that why don't you marry at least one of the daughters of Sayyidina Amir Hamza? Yes, the cousins aren't they then? But then the Prophet said, I can't. Sahaba Ikram were baffled as to why. Then the Prophet ﷺ told them that me and Sayyidina Amir Hamza are milk brothers, which means that the daughters of Sayyidina Amir Hamza are milk daughters of the Prophet, or milk nieces of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which makes that relation then haram and prohibited. So you have that relation as well. So if there is a lady who has a milk brother, then in that, a milk brother is somebody a lady cannot get married to throughout her whole life. It's just like a real brother. Okay. Then in that case, what happens is she can travel with that milk brother. Similarly, through musahara, through in-laws, but this is kind of technical. In-laws, you have in-law, yes? Is that the only word for it? Because it always gets confusing. we call it hurmat musahara, which when you get married to somebody, then you get a father-in-law and a mother-in-law. The father-in-law and the mother-in-law, whichever angle you look at it, from the husband side or the female side, they are like your mother and father. Yes? So for example, if there's a daughter-in-law, she is completely haram for her to ever, once she's married this man, it's haram for her forever to marry her own father-in-law. Okay? Her own father-in-law. People are confused on this matter for some reason. Yes, in this day and age. I've seen scholars confused on this matter in this day and age. Not so long ago, I read a fatwa where a mufti, a prominent mufti actually, I don't know why he did it, but he signed off a fatwa where he allowed for the daughter-in-law to marry her own father-in-law after the husband divorced her. Yes, it's completely not permissible. It's completely not permissible for that to take place. For the father-in-law, it's just like a father. Okay, after the lady has been married. We do have conditions like that. The marriage has to be consummated. Yes, the marriage has to be consummated. But the Hanafis are kind of technical people. When we say consummated, yes, we have two meanings: actual consummation of marriage, and also we have halwat-e sahiha. Yes, halwat-e sahiha is simply the husband and wife were together in a room. Yes, where they could have consummated the marriage, but the reality is that they never did consummate the marriage. That's equal enough to consummating the marriage.
The fact that they had the opportunity.
Yes, the fact that they had the opportunity is what we call qaim maqam, substitute. Yes, for us to be on the safe side. Okay. So this is also necessary, and the musahir has to be Muslim as well. So non-Muslim can't go. On a side note, non-Muslims can't enter Makkah Sharif according to us. Just in case you're confused on that matter. Okay? As Hanafis, non-Muslims are allowed to enter Makkah and Medina. Yes?
Under what basis?
Under what basis? That is not proven anywhere. Yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded for the mushrikeen to be thrown out. And there were those mushrikeen that used to do tawaf around the Kaaba naked. Yes? And then according to the Ahnaf, the verse of the Quran, when it's commanded to throw them out, yes, was based only on the mushrikeen of Makkah and of the Arabs.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to enter. Yes? But other people, according to us, are allowed to enter into the Haram.
Is a stepfather a Muslim for the
Stepfather mahram for the stepdaughter. We call, if the lady has, obviously the girl has been born before, he is a mahram for her. Okay, he is a mahram for her just because of the mother. Okay, but again the condition is that he has consummated the marriage.
Would that same rule apply where he can never marry that daughter?
Yes, yes. There's only one. There is a specific scenario. There is a specific scenario where we mention in the fiqh books, but it's a very detailed scenario. Yes, a very, very detailed scenario. Okay. Similar with mother-in-law and son-in-law. Yes. So if mother-in-law wants to go on Hajj, then she can take her son-in-law. He is mahram enough to go. Okay. We have another type of hurma as well, hurma musahara, which is kind of specific to the Ahnaf. Yes, and it's hard to talk about it, but let's just go for it. We have hurma musahara in terms of looking at others with lust. What you call it? Yes, with passion or lust or whatever. Yes, which we might frame around pornography, for example. Yes, so in this regards as well, in terms of specific body parts, yes, we will say that hurma musahara can exist. Yes, hurma musahara can exist. Yes, which is very troublesome according to the Ahnaf. For example, if somebody is addicted to such things, then it may so happen that he wants to marry the daughter of that lady. Yes, then we'll have to rule that it's haram. Okay, so remember that. There are other forms of it as well. Yes, the extreme these as well. So you don't take them at face value. Yes, we talk about extremes. For example, the fuqaha mentioned that if a person kisses his mother-in-law with lust and shahwa and things like this, then hurma musahara will exist. Yes, but it's like a really extreme case. It's not just like you met your mother-in-law and that's it, your nikah is broken. It's not a case like that. I was actually in a WhatsApp group. Somebody added me into a WhatsApp group a long time ago, and some Maulanas, they gave a fatwa that if you kiss your own daughter, just kiss your own daughter, it breaks your marriage. Yes, and this is what happens when people don't study Hanafi fiqh properly. They come up with these rulings. It doesn't mean that. Again, it means with shahwa, and which the man has to be literally always had to do with lust or shahwa, things like this. Must be a paedophile. That's all I can think of. Now, other than that, the Prophet ﷺ kissed his daughters, kissed Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. Yes, some of his granddaughters as well. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ kissed. Now, and it's known, so there's nothing wrong with that as well. The fatwa that they give is really, really like generalized, that if you just kiss your daughter, that's it, the nikah breaks, and it's a bit odd. And I had a whole argument with them for 2 days on that WhatsApp group, and they wouldn't accept it. Yes, so be careful of fatwas like that as well. So hurma musahara is a big thing in the Hanafi mazhab, especially when it comes to this day and age. Yeah? Because I've dealt with cases, and you'd be surprised, I've dealt with cases where father-in-law has run away with daughter-in-law. Yes. I've dealt with cases where son-in-law, yes, has been having an affair with his mother-in-law. Okay, and that was a big one. It was in this community as well, and that was a big issue. So, but this is completely haram, and it is classed as zina. Okay. The case regarding the father-in-law and the daughter-in-law, they're still living a life of haram. They've got children now, okay, and they're still living a life of haram. They couldn't care less. Yes. And to top it off as well, they took all the property of the husband. Okay, that was another thing. They took everything off him. They took his businesses. They took everything. Yes. Anyway, so hurma musahara is a big thing. He has to be of age, though. By the way, the mahram that you're going to take has to be of age.
Does that mean if married couple have relations with other, it breaks any car?
No. What I'm saying is that look, the father-in-law, he's haram for the daughter-in-law. That relationship is haram. Okay, but if that relationship occurs, if it does occur in this case, yes, it will break the marriage. Yes, it will. Yes, because of the relation. For example, if it's just some other lady or some other man, yes, then it wouldn't break the marriage. So if it's just adultery or fornication, then in this case it would not break the marriage, so to speak. And the husband is definitely worthy of being taken to Hajj. Okay. So if Hajj is fard upon you, then give a thought to your husband. Yes. So he can tag along as well. I'm not going to go into things which are fard and wajib, because it'll take a long time. Okay, but what I'm going to do is go into the method of Hajj, and from there we'll outline the things which are wajib and things which are fard. Really, the fard are only two, by the way. There are two conditions and there are two fards. Yes, the two conditions are: is that you have ihram on. So you be in the state of ihram, that's a condition of Hajj. And be Muslim. That's the second condition. The two fards of Hajj are Wukuf Arafah, where you stand in Arafat on the 9th of Zil Hijjah. And then you have Tawaf Ziyarat. Tawaf Ziyarat. When you do like your Hajj and you go to Arafat, you go to Muzdalifah, and then on Eid day, they will come back, they stone the shaitan, and then they can prepare to go to Makkah for Tawaf Ziyarat. Okay, these are the only two fards that you have. The only two fards that you have of Hajj.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وصحبك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Hajj is of three types. How many types? Three types. You have Hajj Ifrad, that's number one, which means a single Hajj, single. Then you have Hajj Tamattu, then you have Hajj Qiran. Be careful not to read this as Quran. Okay? It's called Qiran. It's full mouth, isn't it? So, huh? Not the calf. Calf is mutawassit, isn't it? Huh? The first one, Ifrad, is just Hajj on its own. Nothing else to it. Yes? You just do Hajj by itself. So the Ihram that you place on from your home or before the Miqat, then that will be of only Hajj. Then you have Hajj Tamattu. Tamattu means taking benefit. In this, when you set off from home, you will intend only Umrah. So the Ihram that you done will be of Umrah. Now, you go, you perform your Umrah. Once you perform the Umrah, we'll talk about Umrah later on. Once you perform the Umrah, then you will take off your Ihram. Once you've taken off your Ihram, you reside in Makkah. You wait for the days of Hajj to come. 8th of Dhul Hijjah to be precise. On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, from Haram, from Makkah itself, you put on a new ihram. By new, I mean a new state of ihram. You could wear the same clothes, same sheets. And this time the intention will be to do Hajj. Yes? So it's Umrah, break, Hajj. Umrah, break, Hajj. So in between you have a break. You're not in the state of ihram. So that is Hajj Tamattu. Everybody understand what Hajj Tamattu is? Yes? Umrah, have a break. Once you finished Umrah, you come out of ihram. That's what I'm calling a break. Then you go into Hajj. You wear a new ihram, a new state of ihram, and you go into Hajj. Hajj Qiran, more difficult of the three, is to don the ihram of Hajj and Umrah together. So the ihram that you wear from home or at the miqat, you wear it with the intention of performing Umrah and Hajj. Umrah and Hajj. So there's no break in between. So you do your Umrah, yes. You won't shave your head or clip your hair, yes. You stay in the state of ihram regardless when you got there. For the month earlier, you have to wait now. If you got there 8 days earlier, you'll have to wait. Yes. So when the 8th of Dhul Hijjah comes, you don't have to put ihram on. You're already in the state of ihram. Then you just go straight towards Mina. Yes. Your ihram in this case will only come off when you completed all the rites of Hajj. That's the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, by the way. 10th of Dhul Hijjah. So that's when it comes on. They're the three types of Hajj. Hajj Qiran is the most virtuous and more rewardable. Then is Hajj Tamattu. Then is Hajj Ifrad. Okay, Hajj Ifrad. The person who does Hajj Ifrad is called a Mufrid. The person who does Hajj Tamattu is called a Mutamatti. The person who does Hajj Qiran is called a Qarin. Isme Fa'il. They're all Isme Fa'il. Okay, in terms of the people who do the Hajj. So Ifrad is Mufrid, Isme Fa'il. Tamattu is Mutamatti, Ism Fa'il. And Qiran, which you're familiar with, is Qarin Fa'il. Okay. These are the three types of Hajj. We will describe Hajj Tamattu or Hajj Ifrad. Yes, I'll decide after namaz. But for now, the days of Hajj. Just to quickly go through it, the days of Hajj start more or less. There's really 3 months altogether. Yes, for the day for the months of Hajj. You have Shawwal, Zulqa'dah, and the 10 days of Zulhijjah. These are the months and the days of Hajj. Yes, these are the months and the days of Hajj. It's very important to know these. Yes. Why these called the days of Hajj? Because if you make an intention to go to Makkah, then just make an intention of going on Hajj in these months. But there's also another reason as well. Yes, there are certain rites of Hajj which you can perform before even the actual days of Hajj come. Yes, it's a loophole in the Hanafi Mazhab. Hence why we use the word the months of Hajj. For example, when you come back on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you have to do a tawaf is ziyarat, and sa'i with it, i.e. room between Safa and Marwa. We have a condition that tawaf is ziyarat has to be done in its time, i.e. on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah or the 2 days that follow it. But for Isa'i, we say that it needs to be done in the months of Hajj. Slight difference. Yes. So the actual tawaf has to be done on the 10th onwards. But the sa'i of that can be done earlier. So like normally what we say is that when you put on your ihram for Hajj on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, yes, you can do a nafli tawaf and do sa'i straight after it. But make the intention that this sa'i is for the tawaf that you're going to do on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, just to make life easy. Yes. Because it gets kind of cramped in sa'i, doesn't it, in Safa Marwa. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to go through all the meanings of these terms if you don't know what I'm talking about. Between Safa and Marwa, when you're in, it gets tight space, so sometimes it gets a bit overcrowded. So in this case, you're only going to Makkah to just do tawaf, and then you get out, yes, and you come back to Mina. And if you didn't do it earlier, you'll have to go do tawaf, go do sa'i, and then come back to Mina. Yes. So sometimes you can judge it yourself if it's easier for you to do the sa'i first or do it at the time. So that's why we say Ashura Hajj for that. It'll come again, inshallah. I'll explain that again. The days of Hajj start from 8th of Zil Hijjah. 8th of Zil Hijjah. I'm sure there's an overview in our Hajj book, isn't there?
Yes.
The blue pages, that's why I remember. I haven't seen it for all year now. Yeah? No, it's okay. So I think I know it off by heart now. So the 8th of Zil Hijjah is the day of preparation. Generally on the 7th of Zil Hijjah, the Imam will give a khutbah. Okay? But you don your ihram on 8th of Zil Hijjah. I'm only putting this in just so that you know that you wear your ihram on this day. It really doesn't have anything to do with Hajj really, other than putting on your ihram. Yes, in terms of the rites of Hajj, you can really put on your ihram at any point. Yes, so the 8th of Zil Hijjah, you put on ihram. So 8. Okay. What we done? Hijjah. Forgot to write English. Triple J, that's I. Forgot to write. There you go. 8th of Zil Hijjah is the point of ihram. Okay? And that's all. Then you go to Mina, and Mina. Yes? You go to Mina. Try to don your ihram at Fajr time, and try to be in Mina for Zohr time. That day, you just relax, chill out. Yes? Prepare yourselves. Stretch out. Get a bit of exercise in, loosen your muscles. There's nothing to do on this day other than just get yourselves settled. Okay? That's the 8th of Zil Hijjah. Okay? I'm just going to give a quick overview and then we're going to go through it step by step. Then you have the 9th of Zil Hijjah. This is the day of Arafat. You go to Arafat. Okay? So you go to Arafat. In Arafat, you will go there at Zohar time. So for Mina, you go to Arafat and try to get there for Zohar prayer. And you'll carry your wukuf on. We're going to go through all this as well, so we'll tell you what to do there. But the next stage after it, Maghrib time, you travel towards Muzdalifah. Yes? You travel towards Muzdalifah. And you stay in Muzdalifah till Fajr. Till Fajr. This is just a quick overview of it. You stay in Muzdalifah till Fajr. Once you've done Muzdalifah, what day is it now? 10th of Zil Hijjah. So now you're on the 10th. On the 10th, you're in Mina. Okay. And here you stone the big shaitan. We call it Jamara Aqaba. Jamara Aqaba. Anybody heard of the Bay'a Aqaba? Yes? What was it? What was the Bay'a al-Aqaba? There was two actually. There was two Bay'ahs, the first one and the second one. It was a Bay'ah by people from Medina Sharif. When the Prophet was still living in Mecca, some of the companions who had come to Mecca, they accepted Islam. Yes, and they took bay'ah the first time with the Prophet ﷺ more or less Mina, Jamra al-Aqaba, bay'ah al-Aqaba. And then the next year, they came back. It was Hajj time, by the way, as well. Yes, and the Prophet was Jamra al-Aqaba again. At this time, they came like triple, or whatever you can say, triple numbers from what they were in the previous year. Meaning that's how many Muslims had accepted Islam before even the Prophet migrated towards Medina. Okay, so this is why it's very important. Here is where they told the Prophet ﷺ to move to Medina. Yes, and the Prophet didn't decline as well. Okay, didn't really say yes as well. Okay. Or see, they said that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the order. And we know that that came later on then. So that's the 10th of Zil Hijjah. So you stone the Jamra al-Aqaba. Then on this day you have sacrifice. Yes, we call it zabah. I said zabah in Arabic, we say zabah. Yeah, that's what same word. Okay, we will tell you who is necessary upon and who is not. Okay, but I'll tell you really quickly. Hajj tamattu and Hajj Qiran. This sacrifice is wajib. Okay, those who's left out, ifrad, it's not wajib for him to give sacrifice, so he can miss it. But if you do Hajj tamattu or Hajj Qiran, you have to give this sacrifice. It's wajib. Okay, then you have halq. What's halq? No, here you mean shaving the head. Okay, here you shave your head. Do you, sisters? No, the opposite of is taqseer. Taqseer. My right is going sideways. The opposite of it is taqseer. Taqseer is just to clip the head. I'm going to tell you how to do that as well. Taqseer. Then after this, you go into plain clothes. We'll tell you that later on. After this, then you go to do tawaf-e-ziyarat. Tawaf-e-ziyara. Okay, that's when you go towards Makkah now. Tawaf-ziyara. Tawaf-e-ziyara can be done in 3 days: 10, 11, or 12. Okay, we'll tell you that again. And then after this, once you've done Tawaf-e-ziyara, you can relax on the 10th of Zil Hijjah. Then you have the 11th, 12th, and the 13th. This is the stonings. These are the stonings. We'll talk about them when we come back. Okay, inshallah. We're going to go for namaz, inshallah.
ماذا في علم الله والخيرة في الواقع تدبيرك ما يسواش من تدبيري دعني وأنا مالي فيهاش آش علي مني وأنا مالي فيهاش يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع. يا قلبي ثق بالله فهو المعطي المانع وارضى بقضاء الله إنك لله راجع. ماذا في علم الله ماذا في علم الله والخيرة في الواقع. تدبيرك ما يسواش من تدبيري دعني وأنا مالي فيهاش آش عليا مني وأنا مالي فيهاش وأنا مالي فيهاش آش عليا مني آش عليا وأنا عبد مملوك والحاجة مقضية ما في التعقيق اشكوك. ربي فانظر ليا وأنا نظري متروك بالأرحم وبالحاش من نطفة صورني من نطفة وحناني بالإنعام نعمة من كل صفة بشراب ونتردم. أوصيك بتقوى الله بالسر والإعلان وتيقن أن الله حاضر في كل مكان. إذا نفعك الله لا شيء ضرك إنسان. صفيها من الأغشاش إن كنت تطاوعني وأنا مالي فيهاش وأنا مالي فيهاش شعليا مني وأنا مالي فيهاش شعليا مني. الله يا عظيم أنت العظيم قادما منام أمر عظيم. الله يا عظيم أنت العظيم أمر عظيم وكل أمر همنا يا مجيب. يا ربنا بالفتحات وبالرجال رجال الصالحات. اجعل أمورنا ناجحة نحن وكل المسلمين. الله يا عظيم أنت العظيم قادما لنا وكل أمر همنا. يا ربنا بالبقرة وبالرجال رجال العشرة. اجعل أمورنا ميسرة نحن وكل المسلمين.
I'll write this a bit neater for you. Who remembers it? Anybody remember it? Somebody said yeah. Eh? So you got the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. What are we doing? Ihram. And Mina. Then you've got the 9th What do we do on the 9th? Then Muzdalifah, and then is the 10th, isn't it? On the 10th, what do we do? What's that? Mina. You go come back to Mina. Stoning. There's only one stoning. It's called Jamara Aqaba. Then Zabah. It's called a sacrifice. Am I right? Cutting the hair. I wrote halq, didn't I? Or taqseer. Then tawaf ziyarah. Then you just wait a minute, and it's the 11th now. On the 11th, the only thing you do is stone all three. Yes, all three shaitans. Stoning all three. 12th, same thing. Stoning. We'll just call it stoning. It's only this day that's odd one. You know, stoning of Jamra al-Aqaba. On the rest of the days you stone all three. Only on the 1st or on the 10th you only stone the biggest shaitan, that's the last one. Stoning. Then you have 11, 12. Now here you have an option. If you want to leave, as in finish your Hajj, that's it. Is that right? Yes, that's right. If you want to finish now, you can. Meaning if you want to go to Makkah and just relax and chill out, then you can at this point. It's permissible for you to do that. So can leave. Okay? But if you decide to stay till Fajr on the 13th of Zil Hijjah, then in this case you will have to do stoning as well. Yes? So you can leave on that day, finish your Hajj. Yeah, once you've done the stoning of that day, your Hajj is really complete. Yes? And you can leave. But if you want to stay, it's sunnah to stay. Yes? So if you want to stay, then on the 13th of Zil Hijjah, stoning will also be wajib again. Okay?
All three.
On all three. On all three. Okay? And then after that, you definitely have to leave. Okay? That is the overview of Hajj. Yes? That's it. Shall we go home now?
How many stones do you have to gather?
We're going to go through all that now. Okay? Right. That's just the overview. It would have been easy if you had the book. The Hajj and Umrah book. Essential Islams. They're out of stock, so that's why we didn't have any to give you.
I can vouch that, alhamdulillah, it was perfect companion.
MashaAllah. It's Syrian Naveed that's actually done the work on that. So he should be the one that should be thanked. I think I just wrote the foreword. And, yeah. Anyway.
A valuable contribution nonetheless.
Now we start off by saying that we put on ihram. Yes, ihram has to be done from a miqat or beyond the miqat. So look at it this way. You can just make little circles. If this is the haram, yes. If you have an outer circle, then if this is like Makkah here, then this area here, the shaded area is called the hill. What is it called? Hill. And this outer area is called the miqat. Okay? Beyond this miqat, if you're from outside, you can wear your ihram at any point. Yes? But you can't surpass the miqat without ihram. Without ihram. Okay? Easy for us, we just wear it either from the UK or from Turkey or from Abu Dhabi or wherever you go. Yes? You just wear it from there. But if you're traveling from like Medina, which miqat do you go to? Forgot the masjid's name. No,
Masjid Aisha.
no, that's in Hill. Masjid Aisha's in Hill. It's gone out of my head. No. The masjid name's gone out of my head anyway, it'll come back to me at some point. If you travel from Medina, they sometimes call it Masjid Umrah, yes? And then you go there, you can put your ihram on from there. Is it Masjid Quba? I think, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? No? Is it different? It's different masjid, isn't it? Yeah. It has all the shower facilities and everything there. That's the miqat for people of Medina, and then you come. Can't remember if it was Zul Hulayfa. That might be the maqam, Zul Hulayfa. But anyway, that doesn't matter according to us. We wear the ihram well before. Okay. The ihram is a combination of three things. Just wearing the ihram is not the state of ihram. Yes? So being in the state of ihram is three things. Donning the sheets, yes. Then making an intention of Hajj or Umrah, whatever you're doing. And then doing talbiyah after it. If any one of these is missing, you're not in the state of ihram. You are not in the state of. So if you got your sheets on, yes, but no intention, you're not in the state of ihram. You might have your sheets on, have made an intention as well, but not read talbiyah yet. Then you're not in the state of ihram. Yes. So these three things need to be completed for you to be in the state of ihram. Yes. So three things you have. Ihram. By ihram here I mean the clothes. I'm going to talk about the clothes in a minute. Then you have intention. Then talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. You read that. Once you've read that, after these two, then you're in the state. Not wear sewn clothes. Yes. They can't be stitched as well. Sewn, stitched, whichever way you want to look at it. And there are only two sheets. So you have a lower garment and a upper garment. I would say try not to use the towel ones. Yes? Try not to use the towel ones. The other ones sunnah. Yes, the normal sheets that you have. They are sunnah to wear as well. So use them, try to get used to them as well. As for sisters, your ihram is just the normal clothes that you wear. But there is a certain restriction, you can't cover your face with it. Okay, so you cover everything else, your face cannot be covered with any type of clothing. Yeah. Previously they used to have like a designer hijab, niqab rather. Yes. Custom made. Yes. And how it was custom made was that they just used to get a cloth, get two sticks, yes, and put the cloth over the two sticks, like a box, yes, on four sides. I was teaching my this in Islamic class, and I said to them, it reminds me of those beehive keepers. Yeah, they have the hats on, so you can wear something like that to Umrah if you want, Umrah or Hajj. So meaning that's fine if you have something like that, yes, where the front part of the cloth does not touch your face, then it's fine. Okay, but if it touches your skin, then that will be a violation of your state of ihram. Okay, so that is not. Prohibitions in the state of ihram: you cannot put on scent. Okay, you can't pluck your hair, cut your hair, and things like this. None of these things will be permissible within the state of ihram. Now once you are in the state of ihram, once you wear the clothes of ihram, you read two nafal, by the way. Okay, they're two nafal. Once you've done all of these things, you are in the state of ihram. You travel wherever you get to Makkah. Okay, let's skip all through the traveling part. But like I told you, a loophole is if you have to wear your ihram from wherever you are, okay, just don't make the talbiyah. Yes, don't make the talbiyah. As in you put on your ihram, you read the two nafal, don't make an intention and don't read the talbiyah until maybe they tell you that there's 20 minutes left to landing. Okay, then say labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and then you are in the state of ihram just to make life easy for yourself. Okay, you can change your ihram, by the way. You know your clothes, you can change them. There's nothing wrong with changing them if you have to, that is. So once you are in the state of Ihram and you've reached Makkah. I'm going to describe Hajj Tamattu. Hajj Tamattu, because that is probably the most common one that you will do. Generally people go from the UK, they will do Hajj Tamattu because it's easier than Hajj Qiran. The first thing you do in that is Umrah. What do you do in that one? Umrah. So then we'll make an intention of Umrah. What will we make intention of? Umrah. So we'll say something like Allahumma inni uridul umrata fayassir hali wa taqabbalha minni. Yes, that oh Allah, I intend to do Umrah, make it easy for me and accept it from me. Yes, and then you do Talbiyah after it. So now you're in the state of Umrah, you've traveled to, in the state of Ihram for Umrah, you've traveled to Makkah. Nice and easy, no need to rush. Yes, you're not going to go anywhere. Yes, so take your luggage to your hotel and do all whatever you have to do there. And then nice and calmly make your way towards the Mataf. Towards the Mataf. Mataf is the area around, you know, you do Tawaf. That's called the Mataf. So if that's the Kaaba, this is all the Mataf. Yes? Now, once you're there, you will have to find Hajr Aswad. Hajr Aswad, the black stone. Once you find the black stone, you go up to it and you kiss it. Kiss the black stone. And it's kissing without a sound. Kissing without a sound. So you kiss it, put both hands on it and kiss it. Bismillahi Allahu Akbar and kiss it. And if you can't get to it, then in this case, get a stick and try to touch it with the stick and then maybe kiss that. And that's definitely not possible as well in this day and age. So the best thing to do now is just from afar, say Bismillahi Allahu Akbar and kiss the back of your hand. Okay, that's it. Just say Bismillahi Allahu Akbar. And then you move towards your own right. Your right. So if you're looking at the Kaaba, you go that way around, anti-clockwise. So then in this case, you will say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar and move towards your right. You move towards the door of the Kaaba. Is that right? Yes? You move towards the door of the Kaaba. Now, let's clean the mataf up. If this is the Kaaba over here, and you're starting over here, this is Hajr Aswad. Okay? You're going to move, and the door's over here, of the Kaaba. You're going to move this way around, so you say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and move that way. Okay? So you move that way, your tawaf starts. This is the start of your tawaf. This is called Rukn Hajr Aswad, the corner of Hajr Aswad. Okay? The Hatim is over here. You know, the semi-circle kind of wall. Yes? That is that. That used to be part of the Kaaba. For whatever reason, it was taken out when the Kaaba was rebuilt. But you have to do tawaf around it. Yes? Don't think that, oh, the door's open, I can just skip through. Okay? No, you have to go all the way around. Okay? So, you have to go all around it for a proper tawaf to be done. Okay? This area here is considered to be inside of the Kaaba as well. So if you enter it, you're inside the Kaaba. If you read 2 nafal there, you've read 2 nafal inside the Kaaba. The truth is, even in this area, you can face any direction. Yes? But obviously the building of the Kaaba is over here, so you face that way. It looked odd if you faced the other way, wouldn't it? You come around, this Rukn here is called Rukn Yamani. The Yemeni Rukn. What's it called? Yemeni Rukn. So we kiss this Hajr Aswad and we start our tawaf. When we get to Rukn Yamani, we also do Istilam here as well. A lot of people miss it out. As in, if you can kiss the corner, then kiss this corner. If you can't, then at least from afar, just do indication towards it and kiss the back of your hand. And then when you come back, you will come back to Hajr Aswad. Yes? When you see Hajr Aswad again, this is 1 round. How many rounds? 1 round. You do that 7 times. How many times? 7 times. Read what you like, say what you like. Okay? In the bounds of Sharia. Okay? So that is one round, and you have to do 7 rounds exactly in that way. I'm not sure how it's like now. It's been 15, 16 years since I've been. How old am I? 31. Okay. I'm 31. I went when I was 14. Okay. So I haven't been back since. I went by myself. So when I was there used to be a black strip. Yes. Going from Hajr Aswad. Yes. All the way. Safa Marwa is on this side. Safa Marwa is about there. Okay. There should be a black strip here, which will let you know that you're on Hajr Aswad, but I've heard that they no longer exist. So this black strip is no longer there, but I've heard there's like a green light over here somewhere. Yeah, that green light? Yeah. So that green light, if you ever see it, that's an indication Hajr Aswad is there. Sometimes you can get lost. The mataf is quite big now. So if it's really packed out, you can't exactly see Hajr Aswad. Yes, sometimes, because the door of the Kaaba is on the other side. Yes, around the corner, so you can't see the door as well to really know that you just passed Hajr Aswad as well. So in that case, the green light works wonders for you to know. You just look towards Safa Marwa and you see the green light, you know Hajr Aswad is there. Stand directly in between the green light and the Kaaba, you're facing directly towards Hajr Aswad. Every time you pass Rukn Yamani and Hajr Aswad in those 7 rounds, you will raise your hands and say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and kiss the back of your hand every time. Yes, so you do 7 rounds in this way. Where does your tawaf end? Where you started, Hajr Aswad. Once you've done 7 rounds, it is now necessary for you to read 2 rakat behind. We call them nafal, they're necessary though. Okay, behind Maqam Ibrahim. Who knows where Maqam Ibrahim is? It's on the door side, isn't it? And yes, so Maqam Ibrahim is somewhere situated around there. Yes. You read 2 rakat behind Maqam Ibrahim. So anywhere behind this place here. Yes. And all the way to wherever the masjid goes. Yes. If you find that you can't, as in it's too crowded, then anywhere in the masjid will do. The point of it is to perform those 2 units of prayer. Then we normally say that go find some Zamzam water, drink it, and drink it to such that your ribs are about to burst. Wash yourself in it, do wuzu with it, do ghusl with it. Yes, and Zamzam water is for whatever it is drunk for. So whatever intentions, whatever du'as you make at that time, your dua is accepted at that point as well. I missed one thing in the starting, which was when you enter Makkah for the first time, enter the Haram for the first time, the first sight you have of the Kaaba, okay, that is also an accepted dua. Yes, and we normally enter. The sunnah is to enter it from Safa Marwa. Yes, the Prophet's house is around here. Yes, and in Safa Marwa side, the Prophet's house is on this side. We call this the higher side of the Haram. You know why? Because you know when you come into the Mataf, there's stairs leading down. If you remember, I'm not sure if they're still there. But from Safa Marwa side, if you ever come in, there's stairs on this side. I'm not sure how much stairs they are, maybe 5 or 10. Yes? It's called the higher side of the Haram. Yes, where you have to come into it. Whereas if you come from the other side, from Zamzam Tower side, you just walk straight in without any stairs. Yes? It's flat. This side is the higher side. It's always been the higher side. From the time of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet's house was here. There's a door here which is called Babus Salam. Yes? It's sunnah to enter through that door, but you have to be careful because people are running across this and running across that. Yes? When I went, there was a bridge. There was a bridge, so I don't know, I can't remember where the stairs were, but there was stairs leading to that bridge where you can safely get across and then go down and then cross over, as opposed to getting into the area of Safa Marwa, where you got men just running this way and men running that way, and then you have the disabled lane in the middle. Yes, so I'm sure there was a bridge there at one point. I'm not sure if it's still there, but if you can enter through there, you enter through there. There is a landing space here where you can stop. Yes, lower your gaze, and when you get to the landing space, nice place to park yourself. Then look at the Kaaba for the first time and make as much du'as as you like. Imam Abu Hanifa at this point used to make a dua that, oh Allah, make me mustajabu da'wa, I accept all my du'as. Easier, isn't it? Yes? As in, you can't remember everybody at that point. Yes? And you can't remember every single dua that you want to make at that point. Then it's easier just to say, oh Allah, that make my dua, all my duas, or whenever I make dua, let it be accepted. So in that case, whenever you make dua, it's accepted. Because this dua is accepted. Nice, easy way to do that as opposed to getting your list of names out and, yeah, and just you don't do that. So that was in the starting. Anyway, once you finish that, you've done your 2 rakats, drink Zamzam water, whatever you do it. Then you can come to the Kaaba. The reason I say this at this point is that people tend to rush things and sometimes they don't know what they're doing then. So at this point, relax, chill out, take your time. We have to go to Safa Marwa, but it's not a race that somebody's done Umrah in 10 minutes and now you have to do it in 5 minutes. Yes, there's no race. So do some ziyarat in that time. Yes, so come to drink Zamzam water. One of the first places we say if you get a chance is come to the Multazam. Multazam is the place between Hajr Aswad and the door of the Kaaba. So if this is the Kaaba, if this is the door here, Hajr Aswad is here. This area here, what I've shaded in, that's called the Multazam. That's called the Multazam. The Prophet ﷺ used to come to this place and stretch his arms out and place either cheek, whichever one, he used to place on it as though he's hugging this place. And he used to make dua here. Yes? And it's one of those places where dua is accepted. Okay? If you can, then come to the ledge of the door of the Kaaba. Yes? The ledge of the door of the Kaaba. The door of the Kaaba is slightly higher. I told you that, didn't I? Yes? The men were big in that time. You get some people who do qiyas like that. They say, oh, look how the door of the Kaaba is so big. It's so high. That used to be one step for people. Okay? No, it was actually raised later on. Yes, it was actually on the ground before, and then for apparent reasons, I told you this last time, didn't I? No, it was a different class. For apparent reasons, they moved it high. What is that apparent reason?
People break through.
Breakthrough? No, remember it's made out of gold, isn't it? Yes? You want to keep the awe of the door of the Kaaba. Yes? You don't want dirty fingerprints on it. Yes? And this is one of the reasons as well why it's a blessing to touch the gates of the Darbar of the Prophet ﷺ. We sometimes have to keep the awe as well. Yes? Look how many people pass through. Yes? One's just eating khajur. Somebody's eating camel. Yes? And some people don't even wash their hands. And they're all walking through. Yes? Sticky hands. And imagine if you allowed everybody to touch the gates. This is just my own reasoning to it. Yes? It just takes the awe away. Yes? When you have shiny objects, yes, like chrome objects and things like this. Like my car has like this chrome things around the windows, and every time I wash my car, the first thing that becomes dirty again is the chrome around the windows. Why? Because when kids come to the car, they just touch it all, yeah? And you can see all the fingerprints on it. Yes. Obviously, the same thing would happen to the door of the Kaaba and the gates to the grave of the Prophet ﷺ. Yeah? And if you were just a normal person who just came and looked at the gate, but then you saw that it's all got smudged fingerprints on it and smudged and things like this, it takes that slight awe away, doesn't it? Yes? You don't feel comfortable with it. So it's a blessing to touch it, but there has to be a limit as well. Okay? So that's why it was raised high, slightly higher. There was a flood once as well, yes, but it wasn't really, because I can remember at that time the door was higher as well. Yes, it's been high for a long time. So then once you've done that, you can hold on to the drapes of the Kaaba, the ghilaf, hold on to it, make dua. If you want to come inside the hatim, read 2 nafil there, then you can as well. Once you've done that, now after you've had a bit of a rest, you come towards Safa and Marwa. Okay, from this side, Safa will be over here. This is Safa. Okay, you come to Safa, stand on top of Safa here, and look directly towards the Hajr Aswad, and just do istilam again, and then you start your sa'i, make dua, whatever you want to make. Then start your, this is called sa'i. What is it called? Sa'i. Sa'i just means like running or walking between. You, and on this point is Marwa. Now you come here, and between these points, round about here to here, there's a green light. Yes, women walk through it, men run through it, and you actually sprint. You actually sprint. Okay. One thing I forgot for the men, by the way, when you're doing your tawaf, you will have to do a ramal in the first 3 rounds. A ramal is like a big man's walk. Yes, you just move your shoulders. You do that for 3 rounds, and for all 7, bodybuilders the way to do it. You do that for how many rounds? 3 rounds, and for all 7 rounds, and be careful with this. Yes, for all 7 rounds, we do a thing called istiba. Istiba is to make sure that your top garment rests on your left shoulder, which reveals your right shoulder. Yes, but it's in such a way that both strands of your top garment rest on your shoulder. So the way to do it is you get this one strap, put in front, yes, and then the other one comes around, and it keeps going around until it rests on your shoulder. So the first strap, the first side of it is dangles in front, and the last strap or the other side of it just dangles on the same shoulder towards the back. That's all it is. And how many rounds do you do it for? 7 rounds. There's a misconception that people do it for 3 rounds. Ramal is done for 3 rounds, and istiba is done for 7. Meaning you don't have to change your top garment in any way, okay, to cover yourselves. That is, this ramal and istiba of the cloth is done for every tawaf which you have sa'i with it. Yes, there's only 2 tawafs: Umrah tawaf and tawaf ziyarat. Yes, if you do nafli tawaf, there's no concept of doing sa'i after it. Okay, and if you just go and do a nafli tawaf in your normal clothes, you don't do sa'i after it. So once you've done that, you go to Safa and Marwa. When you come to the green lights, men have to run, women just walk, nice and easy for them. Yes, but one way to cheat is, if you got your wife with you, then you run and just stop there and have a rest. Okay, wait till she catches up. Yes, and then say to her, couldn't you walk a bit slower? Okay, and then climb up to Marwa. Once you climbed up to Marwa, same thing, you can face Hajar Aswad, do istilam, yes, and do du'as, whatever you like, and then come down Marwa, and then when you come to the green lights again, the men have to run, okay, and then you finish at top of Safa. But that's not 1 round, okay, that is not 1 round, that's 2 rounds. So going from Safa to Marwa is 1 round, then Marwa to Safa is 2 rounds. You have to do that 7 times. Which mountain do we stop at? We stop at Marwa, don't we? Yes? Look, Safa, Marwa 1, Marwa, Safa 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes? Oh, you'll be doing round then, it's too long. Yes? So when you go from Safa to Marwa, that's 1 round. From Marwa to Safa is 2 rounds. Yes? And like that, you just keep counting until you end of Safa, that's the 7th round. Finish there, and then after this, you just need to shave your head for men, and cut your hair for women. Men can also cut the hair. The cutting hair is simple. Shaving the head is at least a quarter of the head. For cutting the hair, easiest way is to just gather all of your hair together, okay, and the size of your fingertips, just cut from the end of every single hair, and that's it. That's Umrah. You take off Ihram and you relax until the 8th of Zil Hijjah. That's Umrah. I'm not going to explain Umrah again now. Okay, they are the actions of Umrah. If you want to perform more Umrahs, you go to a place called Tan'im, we call it normally, but generally you know it as Masjid Aisha. The area is called Tan'im. You go there, don your ihram from there. Even sisters will go there, but you'll be in normal clothes. And you don your ihram, come into the state of ihram, and then you can come back to Makkah and do the Umrah again, and you can do that as many times as you like. You stay here now till the 8th of Zil Hijjah. Till the 8th of Zil Hijjah. On the 7th, the Imam does a khutbah. You can listen to that. 8th of Zil Hijjah, you read Fajr and you set off towards Mina. Once you get to Mina, like I said, you just prepare. Nothing to do on this day and age. Just prepare, spiritually prepare. Look into the science of tasawwuf and the science of Hajj in regards to spirituality. We normally give a whole lecture on this. Normally my Hajj seminar is like an hour and a half just on tasawwuf of Hajj. Okay, and then after that I find that I've only got half an hour left to explain Hajj. Okay, and then I just skip through it then. But it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Hajj is a focal point of Islam, and you'll find that many awliya ikram, when they did Hajj, many openings came to them and they became who they were. Yes. So now what you do is you wait in Mina. Then when night falls, you read Fajr in the dark, by the way, meaning it's beginning time. Yes. Normally men read it when it gets nice and bright outside, but in Hajj time you read it in the dark. That's the beginning time. Once you've read that, then you prepare to leave. Prepare to leave for Arafat. Try your best to get to Arafat for Zohar time. Now, if you get there for Zohar time, what will happen is that if you pray your namaz with the Imam there, then in this case, you will pray Zohar and Asr together. You'll pray Zohar and Asr together. But before this, the Imam will give a khutbah. He'll give 2 khutbah and he'll sit between it. And then after this, he will read Zohar Azan. 1 Azan will be given and 2 Iqamats will be given. So Azan is given, then Iqamat is given, then you read Zohar namaz. Then as soon as you finish Zohar namaz, Iqamat will be said again, and straight away you will go into Asr prayer. But the condition here is you have to be in the state of Ihram and you have to catch the leader of Hajj. If you catch him, then in this case, we don't read behind them just in case you're questioning that. But the masla is same just in case a Sunni Imam ever leads Hajj. Okay, so if a Sunni Imam leads it, then he'll be Masjid Namira. There's no such thing as Nimra, okay? Masjid Namira. You find a lot of people, daughter's name Nimra. The name is actually Namira. Yes, and to my knowledge, if I remember correctly, Namira is a cheetah. No, the animal, the fastest animal, isn't it? 60 miles per hour one. Yes, it's that. This place was maybe either this to have leather skin of that animal here, or this to make some kind of fabric or something similar to the design of the cheetah's leather. So if you attain it, then you read them together. Most likely you won't. Most likely you won't get it. By the time you get to Arafat, you'll find that the masjid will be packed out anyway. So then you will pray Zohar and Asr in their respective times. Yes? Zohar and Asr will be prayed in their respective times, even if somebody leads you in Jamaat. Meaning if your own Imam, you've got your own Imam and he leads you, yes, then in this case, you will read Zohar and Asr in their respective times. So you don't combine the prayer here. Now, this is the day of Arafah, the 9th of Zil Hijjah, by the way. Now, it's wajib, the Arafat, standing in Arafat, we call it Wukuf Arafah. This is farz. This is farz, and this is the main fard of Hajj. Like the Prophet said, that the one who does not get Arafah does not get Hajj. Simple. Yes, so this is the major day. So it's wajib to do wukuf. Sorry, it's farz to do wukuf, and the timing for it is between noon and sunset. Noon and sunset, that's the wajib time to do it in. Yes, but you can do it from Fajr time all the way till Fajr the next day. Yes, till the Fajr of 10th of Zil Hijjah, but it's wajib to do it between noon and Maghrib. This is the wajib time. So once you ready Salah, you'll be in Arafat anyway. Try to get close to Jabal Rahmat, but we pillar. You don't climb all the way top. Climb it slightly at the foot of the mountain that you get a bit high so that you can face towards Qibla properly. And that's about it. Here's a time where you make dua now. Wukuf is standing facing Qibla and making dua. Yes. The author in Ulida says that this is a place for you to make dua. Don't be conjuice. Okay, he actually uses that word. Don't do taqseer. Don't hold back. Don't be a miser. Don't hold back. Make du'as whatever you can. Maybe you got a long time. Yes. So make du'as whatever you can think of. And he says try to shed tears as well. Yes. Or try to force them as well. And the reason for that he writes is that shedding a tear on this day in Arafat is a sign that your Hajj is accepted. Yes. So shed your tears here, and this dua in Arafat is accepted. Yes, you're closest to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and know as well that one of the best days, the best day of the whole year is the day of Arafah, as it's come in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. The day of Arafah is the best day. Specifically making dua, it'll carry on all the way till Maghrib, but you won't read Maghrib. You leave Arafat, now you will start traveling towards Muzdalifah. You will go towards Muzdalifah. You will not read Maghrib neither in Arafat nor to the way to Muzdalifah. By the time you get to Muzdalifah, Isha time will have entered. Okay? Now, regardless of if you read in Jamaat with the Imam Azam, the great Imam, the Imam leading Hajj, or with your own Imam, or by yourself, you will have to combine Maghrib and Isha. Maghrib and Isha. You will combine them. You read Maghrib first and then read Isha straight after it. Okay? This is there. Here now, you will wait, relax, and try to find some stones. Okay. Each shaitan is stoned 7 times. Each shaitan is stoned 7 times. You have how many days? 4.
3 definite, 1 optional.
Yeah, 4 altogether. Yes. So 4 days altogether. On the first day, you only stone 1 devil. Yes. We call him the big shaitan. You stone him. How many stones is that? 7. And then on the second day, on the 11th, you stone all 3. How much is that? 21 altogether. 28. Then on the 12th, you stone all 3. Yeah, altogether. 49. And then you have optional, don't you, 13th. Yes. Another 21. 70. I would say on the safe side, pick up about 100. Yes? Pick up about 100. Because that's the bare minimum then, isn't it? That if you're going to stay those days, then 70 is the minimum that you should have. Yes? But pick up an extra few, just to be on the safe side. 90 or 100, just to be on the safe side. The reason for that is just in case you're not a good thrower. Yes? So, you might lose some might fall. Anything can happen. So then in that case you've got some extra ones to throw. Now you wash them, make sure they're nice and clean. Then one thing to remember, don't try to pick up a massive stone and try to break it. We don't break anything. We do not break anything. The ones that you find that are small, about the size that they can just fit in your between your thumb and your index finger, like that. Okay. And we'll talk about the method of throwing it later on. So you've carried them, cleaned them, have a rest. When Fajr enters, you read Fajr again in the dark. Fajr in the dark. And then you will do Wukuf Muzdalifah. Wukuf Muzdalifah. Wukuf Muzdalifah is wajib. What is it? It's wajib to do, and its time is between the time we just mentioned at Fajr time. Yes? And it'll carry on all the way till sunrise. Carry on all the way till sunrise. Once the sun comes up, you will go. Now it's the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, isn't it? Yes? On the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you will now travel back towards Mina. Go back towards Mina. In Mina, the first thing you will do is find 7 stones in your pocket, take them out, and you will go all the way to Jamr al-Aqaba. It's a one-way system now. So the small shaitan comes, then the medium one comes, and then the big one comes. And they actually like that now. Before they used to just be one pillar each. Now you actually can see that the first pillar is kind of small, the second one's kind of bigger, and the third one's really big. It's a one-way system now, isn't it? I'm not sure how many levels it's got. 3 levels? 4? Anybody know? No? Nobody been on Hajj recently? I'm not sure if it's 3 levels or 4 levels, but it's all one-way system. So on the first day, you're going to miss out the first one, and the second one, you're going to go straight to the third one. Muzdalifah or stoning, you stop your talbiyah. Yes? And with every stone, you say Bismillahi Allahu Akbar. There's 2 ways of stoning. The easiest one is that you hold it on your thumb and your index finger and you aim it in this way. Yes? Another way is you put it on top of your thumb and you flick it like that. Yes? And some ulama said this is sunnah. Yeah? And it's a bit harder. Yes? You know, if you're doing it that way and then it just goes that way. Okay? So it's a bit harder, easier this way. The reason we do it that way or this way is because it's more disrespectful to the shaitan. Yes? More disrespectful to the shaitan. Yes? Look, that boxer guy, he knocked him out in 40 seconds, didn't he? Yes? That's disrespectful, isn't it? If the person lasted for 12 rounds, would they have been more respectful for him? Even though he would have lost. Yes? It would have been more respectful. So you see that small actions are really big, disrespectful. This is what I like to say as well, that when people throw their sandals, yes, they throw chapali and things like this, yes, it shows that the shaitan is kind of heavy upon them, yes, that they can't really control themselves, and the shaitan is heavy upon them, hence why they have to do these things. The truth is, the shaitan, he's weak, yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the shackles of the shaitan are weak, yes, and all it should take you is a flick of a finger to get rid of him. In our tariqah, we don't ba'al the shaitan. Okay? That's Imam Ghazali's way. In our way, we do not ba'al the shaitan. We don't even look towards the shaitan. Our focus is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? So we don't really talk about the shackles of the shaitan. In tasawwuf, that is. In the Shazli way. We just talk about focusing on the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try to move closer to Him and try to better yourselves. Whereas Imam Ghazali looked at the nafs and then looked at how to ba'al the shaitan. Yes? Whereas we didn't want to ba'al him. We said leave him to it. Okay? There's just a difference in tasawwuf, ways of tasawwuf. So then once you've done that stoning of Jamra al-Aqaba, the big shaitan, then you come out. And this, you can do riding a horse or a camel or sat in a Ferrari. In a Ferrari rather. Yeah? You can do that. Yeah? If you hire a car or something and it's empty, you could probably just go up to it, stone it and drive off. Okay? It's jais to do that. I think that's why that stampede kind of thing happened, didn't it? Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago? Because they had like a VIP guest coming through and people were rushing. Once you've done that, you walk off and you'll come back towards Mina. Once you're back to Mina, we did Hajj Tamattu, remember? Sacrifice is wajib upon us. Sacrifice is wajib. A sheep will need to be sacrificed. Generally, your tour guide will sort that out for you. But if you want to go towards the slaughterhouse, it's more or less down the road. Yes, you can walk to it. You have to wait for that phone call or your tour guide to tell you that your sacrifice has been done. Once it's complete, then for men you can shave your head or do taqseer. For women you can only do taqseer. Again, that is clipping from grabbing your hair together and clipping off at least the size of your fingertips from all of your hair. Okay, and then you will be out of ihram in, what could you call it? Not fully though. You're out of ihram, all those restrictions of not wearing perfume and not wearing sewn clothes for men and so like that. All of these restrictions have been lifted except for one thing. Yes, that's marital relations. That stays haram. That only is lifted when you do tawaf. You know, tawaf is ziyarat. That's when that is lifted. So everything else becomes permissible to do. Yes, just marital relations will not be permissible for men and women in that case. So now you wait, you come out of ihram and you've done your halq wa taqsir. Now you have a choice. Either on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you can go to Makkah and do tawaf. Yes, do tawaf is ziyarat. But you have the 11th to do it as well, and you have the 12th to do it. It's wajib to do it in these 3 days. What is it wajib to do it in?
First 3 days. 10,
Yeah,
11.
10, 11 or 12. So any point from the 10th all the way to the Maghrib time of the 12th. Okay? You can do tawaf ziyarat at any point.
When
Yes?
is sunnah to do?
Sunnah is to do it on the 10th. Straight away. Sunnah is to do it on the 12th and do it straight away. Once you do it here, remember we never did a nafli tawaf, by the way, I forgot to tell you. Okay, but here now, if you do tawaf, you will come, you'll do tawaf, you'll be in plain clothes, by the way. Plain clothes, so there's no ramal or anything now. You do the tawaf and then you'll go to Safa Marwa, and you'd go around Safa Marwa like we said for Umrah, same thing. But the loophole that I was telling you before is once you've done your Umrah and then on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, when you put on your ihram from Makkah, you can go at Fajr time, go towards the Kaaba, intend a nafli tawaf. You got ihram on, by the way. Intend a nafli tawaf and intend to do sa'i after it. Do your nafli tawaf, read 2 nafal, the wajib ones, and then go to Safa Marwa. This Safa Marwa is not for a nafli tawaf, because nafli tawaf does not have Safa Marwa. That tawaf would be for tawaf ziyarah. So that when you come back on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you only enter haram, the masjid, only to do tawaf. You don't have to do Safa Marwa. You don't have to do sa'i. Yes? But if you didn't do that there, when you come back on this day, on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you will have to do tawaf ziyarat and then also go towards Safa and Marwa. That made clear? Yes? Once you've done that, then you come back to Mina, by the way. Now these nights that are coming now is sunnah to reside within Mina. Yes? Don't think, okay, I'm just going to stay in my hotel in Makkah. Yes? No, you have to come back to Mina and stay within your tents. Then once the 11th arises, I'm going to go back, rewind a bit. The stoning of Jamar al-Aqaba is done between sunrise and noon. Sunrise and noon. So this is done at sunrise to noon.
That's a small window.
What's that?
Small window.
Yeah, that's a big window.
What time's Fajr?
About maybe 5 or 6. So-
2 million people to do it in 6 hours.
Yep. This is Hanafi anyway. The Shafi will have another look on it. Even if you miss it, you can still do it afterwards. Okay? But it's better to do it in that time. And noon. Okay? And that's when it's done. The stoning of the 11th, you do all 3 of them. There's a principle in this as well. And that is when you come to the first shaitan, you stone it, same thing, you do talbiyah. When you get to it, you stop your talbiyah, say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar with every single stone. If you drop any stones, if you know where it is, you can pick it up. Yes? But if you lose it, then just use another one. If it lands closer to your target, for example, if this is like the shaitan, then it didn't really hit it but just fell at its foot, that's done. It's considered done. Because we have like a circle around it. It's very long, yes. Yeah, the shaitan grew, I think he ate a lot of the stones. So there is a debate as to if you, because they've stretched it out a bit, is where really the stoning goes up to. But I say it's allowed completely on all of them. Okay. If you try to aim it towards the middle, that's a lot better. But if you can't, then alhamdulillah it's done. Just to make life easy. So if you lose any stones, you pick them up if you know where they are. If you don't know where they are, then just leave it. Just use the extra ones that you had. Remember, you picked up 100, didn't you? So from the extra ones, just use them. The principle I was telling you of is if after a stoning there's a stoning. If after a stoning there is a stoning, after finishing the first stoning, you stop and make dua. Yes? So between the first one and the second one, once you finish the first stoning, the first shaitan, then come in between first and second shaitan and make dua. Yes? Then come to the second shaitan, stone him, and then make dua, and then move on to the third one. Yes? So if there's a stoning, after a stoning, make dua. If there is no stoning after a stoning, then just walk off. Yes? And if there is no stoning after a stoning, then for that one stoning, you can ride your camel, your horse, or drive through. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes? So that's always Jamra al-Aqaba then, isn't it? Yes? There's no stoning after Jamra al-Aqaba. So for Jamra al-Aqaba, every time you come to it, you can mount your horse, yes, and stone it, and then just ride off. This is what the Prophet ﷺ did. You do that on the 11th of Zil Hijjah. If you want to come to Makkah and spend some time here, you can, but the nights should be in Mina. The stoning for 11th of Zil Hijjah is done between noon and Maghrib. Noon and Maghrib. That's the default time for it, by the way, for the 3 days that are coming. For the 2 days that are coming. For the 2 days that are coming, that's the default time for it. As in, it's best to do it in that time. So from noon till Maghrib. Noon till Maghrib. Same thing on the 12th of Zil Hijjah. Between noon and Maghrib, you will do the stoning just as you did on the 11th of Zil Hijjah. Now, at Maghrib time, if you want to, just before Maghrib time, if you want to leave, you should leave. But if you stay there till after Maghrib, it's just disliked, but you can still leave, there's nothing upon you. But if you stay there till Fajr, then the stoning of the 13th of Zil Hijjah will also be wajib upon you. Now, same as how you stone on the all 3 stones, shaitans on 11th and the 12th, you will do it on the 13th as well. For this, we make life easy. We say, try to do it between sunrise and noon. Sunrise and noon. If you can, do it at that time. But it's better to still do it at noon till Maghrib. That makes sense? Yeah. Yes? We only say that you can do it at sunrise till noon because on the previous day you got late, didn't you? Yeah. You didn't get up before Maghrib. Yeah. So just to take as a precaution, we say that do it between sunrise and noon, so that you can leave Mina before Maghrib time. Yes, meaning come back to Makkah. So, but the actual timing for this stoning as well is the same. If you can, if you prepared well, then you can do it between noon and sunset. Okay. So these are the timings. So just in terms of the timings of the stoning, on 10th of Zil Hijjah, the timing is between sunrise and noon. That's the big shaitan. 11th Zil Hijjah and 12th Zil Hijjah is done from noon till Maghrib. And on the 13th is meant to be done between noon and sunset. But if you want to do it from sunrise till noon, that's also fine as well. That makes sense? Yes? Yeah. There you go. Then after this, you come to Mina, to Makkah. Your Hajj is complete now. That's all your Hajj is. You stay in Makkah as long as you like. As long as you like. Stay there, relax, do what you like, do as much tawaf as you like, do as much ziyarat as you like. Once it's time for you to leave, we do a last tawaf. We call it tawaful wada. Okay? The farewell tawaf. 7 rounds, 2 nafil after it, 2 rakat after it. You read them and you walk backwards. It's just adab. You walk backwards until the Kaaba is out of your sight, and then you leave the city of Makkah. That's your Hajj complete. Any questions? Go for it.
So you mentioned about the stoning and collecting extra. Is there anything like prohibiting collecting more?
No, if you can carry 1,000, carry it.
No, say for example, if you carried the bare minimum, so you mentioned 70?
Yes, 70 is the bare minimum.
So you dropped like 10 or something.
Yes.
Is there anything prohibiting from picking up 10 more?
You can't pick up from the Jamarat. is disliked to pick it up from the jamrat because they're used ones, aren't they? Yes, remember this is a worship that you're doing, and those that have been thrown have been thrown. Yes, so if you're in need of stones, then you can't exactly pick them off the ground. You'll have to ask somebody to give you some. So it's better as a precaution just to pick up extra. Okay, that's the only reason that's said. But if you can take care of your stones, then in that case, 70 is good enough. Okay. So this is Hajj, by the way. Easy, isn't it? Huh? Yes?
Piece of cake.
On the Hajj book, it has my number and Sidi Naveed's number. And we can help you in matters relating to fiqh. But if you get lost in Makkah, I can't help you. Okay? Believe it or not, we get a lot of calls, people asking us where do we go, and I don't know where you're going. Okay? I don't exactly remember the streets of Makkah when it's been more or less 15, 16 years since I've been back. In fiqh questions we can ask, but in terms of telling where your location is, that's very hard to do. But Alhamdulillah, Sayyidina Nabi still finds the person where he is. Okay? And he can help you. He still can help you. Maybe find your GPS location and then tell you where to go. Okay? We have certain penalties in Hajj. I've told you about Hajj Qiran and I've told you about Hajj Tamattu. We're not going to go over them. I've told you about Umrah as well. Certain penalties there are. There's penalties, for example, where you have to give a sacrifice. We call this dam. What do we call it? Dam. Now, for example, if a person wears scent while he's in the state of ihram but puts in a whole limb, yes, then dam will be necessary, a sacrifice. Whenever I say dam, it refers to a sheep. That will be necessary. A person puts henna on his beard or hair, yes, sisters as well, then dam will be necessary. Puts oil on his body, dam will be necessary. There's a condition with this, wears sewn clothes or covers his head for a whole day. Whole day is necessary here. Then dam will be necessary. Anything less than a whole day, then we'll say sadaqah will be necessary. Sadaqah is the same as your fitrana. Remember we did fitrana? How much was it? 175. That's what will be necessary. If you do cupping, shaving, yes, any part of your body, then in this case what will happen is dam will be necessary. Removing your nails by like whole hand, dam will be necessary, or your toes will be necessary. Leaving any wajib within Hajj. Same thing for Umrah as well. If you leave a wajib, then this will require dam. For example, in Umrah you say what's wajib? Sa'i is wajib. And the first four rounds of tawaf, in tawaf ziyarat and in Umrah tawaf are farz. What are they? Farz. The last 3 rounds are wajib. So if you miss the last 3 rounds and you can't make them up for whatever reason, then in that case you will have to give dam. Sacrifice will be necessary. And he says if you shaven your moustache or if you clipped your moustache or trimmed your moustache, he says there's hukumat in this. What does hukumat mean? Ruling. Yeah, close. Hukumat. Bring the government in for your moustache. It just means you get 2 equitable people, fair people, and they analyze your moustache, how much you go off it. And if they feel that you've taken a lot off, yes, you might have not used a razor or a trimmer, you just did it with scissors, but you've done it in such a way that you've more or less shaved it. Yeah. Then in that case, if it's so trimmed down that they say you might as well have shaved it, then dam will be necessary. If they feel no, it's only trimmed a bit, then sadaqah will be necessary. If they think it's only 1 or 2 hair that you trimmed, yes, then they say less than sadaqah will be necessary. They're all the violations. Okay, that's that. Then there is a type of penalty which brings about sadaqah, which is same as fitrana. That's, for example, if you place on scent for less than a limb, like a finger or 2 fingers, that's fine. Wearing clothes or covering your head for less than a day brings about sadaqah. Taking your hair less than a quarter, then that brings about sadaqah. Cutting 1 or 2 nails brings about sadaqah. Okay, and like this you can carry on as the opposite of what we said before. One thing is, if you do tawaf-e-qudum or tawaf-e-wada, yes, without wuzu, then in this case sadaqah will be necessary. But if you do it in major impurity where ghusl is farz, then in this case you will have to give dam. Yes. So tawaf-e-qudum, I never talked about it, but tawaf-e-qudum, if you do hajj-e-ifrad, yes, and you come to Makkah, then the first tawaf you do is called tawaf-e-qudum, as a welcoming for hajj. Yes, as a welcoming for the Kaaba for hajj. Okay. So if you do that tawaf, the welcoming tawaf and the farewell tawaf in a state of without wuzu, then sadaqah is necessary. But if you do it in a state of major impurity where ghusl is farz, then in this case dam will be necessary. And I'm going to mention here as well, I'll mention it later on. So that's that. Actually, I'll mention it here, and that is that if you do tawaf-e-rukn, if you do tawaf-e-ziyarat, yes, that you do on the 10th of Zil Hijjah, if a person does that in a state of major impurity, then we say a badana. Get used to this word as well. Badana. A badana is necessary. The difference between dam and badana is a dam is around like a sheep, a goat, and animals like that. And badana is like the bigger animals, like a camel. Yes, you'll have to slaughter a camel for it. So if a person does tawaf-e-ziyarat in major impurity, but ghusl is farz, then the person will have to pay the penalty of sacrificing a camel. That's number 1. Number 2, another place where a camel is sacrificed is when if a person has sexual intercourse after wukuf-e-arafah before shaving his head. Yes, after wukuf-e-arafah, wukuf-e-arafah, where is it gone? There it is. Wukuf-e-arafah and shaving the head. Any point from there to here, if a person has sexual intercourse, then he needs to sacrifice a camel. A sheep will not do in this part, because that's like the major part of Hajj. Okay, and that's why it's done in that time. The next one is penalty in terms of paying is less than sadaqah. Less than sadaqah. The less than sadaqah, it means to give less than the fitrana, basically. That's, for example, if you got nits and you kill a nit, yes, or locusts. Yes, locusts are halal, by the way. They're halal to eat according to the Hanafi mazhab. Okay. Then in this case, the reason locust is because they can be a pest. Yes, they swarm, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes, and they can be a bit of a pest. So that's why if you might want to kill one. So, but because they're kind of halal as well, that's what the penalty kind of comes. What's that? They roast them, yes, they roast them, don't they? Yeah, in the desert. Yeah. Now here is just sadaqah. Sadaqah with whatever you think is suitable. So if 175 is the fitrana and the actual sadaqah, then if you kill one nit, then maybe 1 penny. I don't know, penny a nit. Yes. So in that case, you can do sadaqah in that way. The third type actually is, fourth rather, is the price. Yes, in ihram and in Makkah, in haram, you have 2 types of violations. Up until now, we talked about violations of ihram, by the way. Okay, the second one is also a violation of ihram and a violation of haram. Violation of haram. So what this means is, this next type that's coming, if you're in the state of ihram, then it's a violation of ihram. But even if you're not in the state of ihram and you commit any of these, then you violated the rules of haram. and you have to pay for it as well. For example, what's that? In Haram, everything is in security according to us. Every single thing is in safety. Like we say, if there's a murderer, yes, and police are chasing him, and while they're chasing him, what happens is he enters Makkah. He enters the Haram. Yes. We won't really capture him, so to speak. Yes. We'll keep chasing him and try to arrest him, but we won't allow the capital punishment or anything to harm him. That will not take place. Yes. And we've also found as well that sometimes, because it was hard to capture somebody, so then what people would do is put out these posters saying that this person is wanted. Yes. And then the ruling was that in Makkah that all shopkeepers would boycott him. Yes. Until he was forced to come out of Makkah. Yes. And as soon as he steps outside of Makkah, he's going to be slaughtered. But everything that enters Makkah is in safety, so we don't hunt in Makkah. We do not hunt in Makkah. It's haram to hunt yourself. It's haram to indicate towards the game, the prey. Yes. You don't say there it is. Yes. And you don't allude to it as well. You don't. You might say, what do you mean by allude to it? I don't know, like you have some like type of poetry. Yes. And you're reading poetry, the praise behind the bush. Yes. And you say, oh, his bushy eyebrows. Something like that. You're reading poetry. It might be poetry, some kind of poet. But then, obviously, the hunter knows he's heard your words, bush. And he sees George Bush. So, you can't do that as well. There's a difference in that between ishara and alluding towards. We call it dilala, which is to allude towards it by words. Yes? Now, you don't actually say it's behind the bush, because that's exactly telling you where it is, isn't it? Yes? It's metaphorical that you try to make some kind of poetry or something, but then obviously it kind of indicates to him that the animal is in such and such place. You can't do that as well, and it's haram. And if the animal is slaughtered, it's haram for you to eat it.
The treasure behind the wall.
The treasure behind the wall, yes. So it's haram for you to eat it. What happens here is if you do come under this, as in you hunt the animal, then the animal will be priced. Either the place you killed it or the closest place it can be priced. Yes, it will be priced and you will have to pay the price of that. But if the animal's price reaches dam, then just give the dam. Okay. Either give the price of dam into charity, or actually buy a goat and slaughter it and give the food out towards the poor. Okay. A Haji can eat the sacrifice which is done on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. He can eat that and spread it out. Rich people can eat it and spread it out. He can eat that. But penalties, violations, the sacrifices that come through them, the Hujjaj and the rich cannot eat from them. They go to the poor. Okay. And every sacrifice that you give, meaning if there's a penalty upon you, you made a violation and a sacrifice comes upon you, it has to be done within haram. Yes? So you can't say, I'll come to Bradford and give it here. Yes? No, it has to be done in haram. Okay? And spread out amongst them. Similar with this, you do not pluck the grass of Makkah. You don't take down trees in Makkah. Okay? For you as outsiders, by the way. Okay? And like this, and you carry on, because everything is in safety according to us. Okay, that's that. Any questions on this so far? Go for it.
If a child is kind of on a borderline, so not sure if he's baligh or not sure if he's still a child, and does Hajj, so would he have done?
No, he will do it again once he's mature. Okay.
And would it be better to do Dam just as a precaution?
For him?
No, for any person Haji.
No, remember the certainty is that you have done no violations, so keep it at that. Yes, so there's no need for it. When you can't think of anything you've done wrong, yes, then there's no point. Doubt does not remove certainty. The certainty is that you've done your Hajj in the best way. Yes, so it won't remove that certainty. So leave it as that. Okay. Remember what we did for Salah when you didn't in doubt if you read 4 rakats or 3 rakats, but you finish the salah, yes, then in that case is that you don't normally make this mistake, and you're not too sure if you read 3 or 4, then alhamdulillah it's 4. Yes, until it actually comes to you, no, I read 3. Once it comes to you that you read 3, that's certainty now, isn't it? Certainty can remove certainty. Yes? So then you have to repeat your prayer. Now if after 2 years you remembered that I did this violation, yes, then just send the dam over there. Yes, then it can be done. There's nothing wrong. There's no time limit for dam. Okay. The last thing left is to visit the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And the author has mentioned lots of things. You can read up on it in our Essentials of Hajj and Umrah, the last chapter, and a lot of tahqiq has gone into that work as well, especially the second edition. The first edition had fair few mistakes in it, but the second edition is a lot better in that the ziyarah is more or less simple. The author of Nur Lida kind of lengthens it because he tells you what to read and stuff, but the ziyarah is more or less simple. Enter Masjid al-Nabawi. Once you enter it, go towards the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the actual ziyarah. In between he tells you to go to other places. Yes, I'm just going to skip all them, like go to Riyadul Jannah, go to the member of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and various other places. But the actual ziyarah is that you come to the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You stand in front of the gates. These days they have a badge there, don't they, with the name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you're standing in front of that, directly in front of that, you're directly facing the grave of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala, the blessed head of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Here is where you give your salatu salam, make du'as here, yes, and they are in the book of what you can say and what. Bid'ah shirk. Make dua facing the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's not bid'ah and it's not shirk. Yes, it's not akin to shirk. Dua is only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's by the means of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a request to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to pray for you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you to be forgiven. Okay, and it's no way shirk. Yes? And I've written this in one of my articles, which caused a bit of a hoo-ha. It's in there. There was no disrespect to Shaykh Ramadan rahimahullah ta'ala, nor did I say he's a Deobandi, nor did I say he's a Wahhabi. I didn't say none of those things to him. People try to make it look like that I did say those things to him. I just said that in these matters he kind of adopted a Deobandi Salafi methodology, when in majority of his works he does not adopt them. Yes, in majority of his works he does not adopt them, but for some reason in these matters he kind of adopted them, and there is a certain reason why he adopted them in this regards, but that's for another day inshallah. Another article. Like I said, I could have written on about 4 or 5 other matters, but then it would have caused maybe ulama to put a fatwa on him. Okay, in regards to the ijtihad of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in terms of what he wrote, in terms of Husn and Qubuh, saying that like certain people who are now backing him up. Alhamdulillah, he's a scholar of the Ahlul Sunnah, and I believe he's a scholar of the Ahlul Sunnah as well. And our elders, Sharif Qadri Sahib, for example, I have Sharif Qadri Sahib's book here, Min Aqaid Ahlul Sunnah. I was meant to go through this, but chalo khair. He translated some of the works. I think it was the Miraj work of Shaykh Ramadan Bhuti while he was alive. When Sharif Qadri Sahib was alive, he's one of our teachers, by the way. Sharif Qadri Sahib translated Shaykh Ramadan Bhuti's work on Miraj, and various other little things he translated as well. So he's a scholar of the Ahlul Sunnah. So this is why I didn't put him, like certain people who say that this and that, the other, and refute Deobandis and whatever, and they refuted Iman, Kufr and Takfir, and try to argue that that Qubuh is Aqli and not Shar'i, and that's my belief as well. Yes, Qubuh is Aqli and not Shar'i, and that's the opinion that we take. But the truth is that Shaykh Ramadan believed that Qubuh, yes, is Shar'i. Yes, which then he alludes towards that God can be attributed, he alludes to it, he doesn't actually write it, he alludes towards that God can be attributed to lie. Okay? Leave the door open for it. Yes? But then says that he cannot be attributed with the meaning of lie. Yes? There's a slight difference now, but I didn't open that up because that's a major issue with that. But anyway,
He is a scholar of the highest repute.
yes, he is, yes. Alhamdulillah.
I mean, many people consider him Abdal and so on.
Alhamdulillah. That's our husnul zan with them, and we have husnul zan with every scholar of the Ahlul Sunnah. Then after giving salam to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, you move towards Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala an. Once you move towards Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, here you give salam to Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, make dua here as well. Ask Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq as well to intercede on your behalf to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Yes, and then move to Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq radiyallahu ta'ala an. Similar way, give salam upon him, and then make a dua here as well for him to intercede to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on your behalf. And then, like Nurida states, you come in between both of them. So reverse slightly, come in between Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq, and here send salam upon both of them and ask both of them now to intercede on your behalf to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And then he says you come back to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and make another dua here as well. And at this point he says that at this point all those people that have asked you to make dua for to send salam upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, now's the time for you to do that. I would say this is kind of hard to follow in this day and age because they're trying to just rush you off and try to take you out. There's no way you're going to reverse back. Yes, so the best thing to do is when you visit the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then make your own salam, make your own du'as, and the people that have asked you to make salam on their behalf, then do it now. And then Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, then Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq. And you have lots of time, yes, and if you want to actually finish the whole sequence, don't reverse back because it can be difficult sometimes depending on how many people there are. Just go around and you can come back again. When I went, I read the whole Salatu Salam of Ala Hazrat. The Shurta didn't move us for about 45 minutes. I stood there for 45 minutes in front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and me and Mufti Hassan was aside. Yes, Mufti Sahib was reciting some verses. I was reciting some verses. Yes, and it was light voice. And we kept reading, and he didn't move us completely. There used to be a pillar that I'm not sure if it's still there. There used to be 2 lanes, and there used to be like pillars in between. There was nothing blocking those pillars, by the way. I'm sure there's something blocking them now, but then they never used to have them. Me and Mufti Sahib just stood next to that pillar in the middle, and he did not move for about 45 minutes. Yes, and like that we got to read a lot of the Salam. You only went around, I think, once or twice when he moved us. Yes. And we got to read the Salatul Salam in the proper manner. And we did all of this, by the way, step by step in a sequence. So that's the visiting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then after this, go and visit the rest of the ziyarat. Visit Sayyidina Amir Hamza, visit Jannatul Baqi, visit Uhud. I think all of these ziyarat are blocked now, aren't they? Well, there was a statement recently. Okay. They've opened up their own cinema, we know that. Ghar Hira, I remember reading the statement on Ghar Hira. Ghar Hira they've closed down. Ghar Sawr they've closed down. I'm not sure regarding Badr was always closed, I think. They always had a fence around it. For Uhud, I'm not sure, or Sayyidina Amir Hamza. I heard they might start charging for people to enter into Jannatul Baqi. If you want to walk inside, they'll probably just put like a machine or something there for you to put money in to get inside. And if you can visit other places, then Alhamdulillah, you should. But Jannatul Baqi and Uhud are like the main places you should visit. Any questions?
Is there any place that a woman cannot go?
You can go everywhere, even Jannatul Baqi. Inside you can't at the moment, yes. But if you can get inside, you can, yes. Nothing restricted for the woman, obviously, especially if a lady is going through Haiz Nifas, then in that case, Masjid Nabawi and Masjid Haram is off limits. Yes, so you can't enter into the masjid in that time. Okay. But if you're not in that state, then you can do any ziyarah which you please.
They wouldn't be able to give salam to the Prophet as well.
Yeah, because it's in the masjid. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing it from outside. Okay, just a way around it. Any questions? No? Yeah, that's the end of. I'll go.
For those who aren't blessed to go to Hajj, is there anything we can do, like any recommended acts or any prayers that we should recite?
If you can't do Hajj, did you say?
For example, like you've not gone to Hajj, you're just in the UK.
Okay. Oh, on the day of Arafah, obviously you're going to be fasting on that day. Yes, make du'as on that day. Obviously the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is spread all over the world on that day, but specifically on the people in Arafat. It is one of the best days of the year. So you make du'as on that day. You have Eid day. There's no such thing as ta'rif. This is a bid'ah, and people still do this. We do get cases in Pakistan where people do this, where they'll find a field and they'll come out on the day of Arafah and they'll try to make it look like that they're also in Arafat. This is a bid'ah. Yes, Imam Sahib bin Ulada is from his time actually. He also calls it a bid'ah. So we don't do stuff like that. So the best thing to do is make du'as on that day. Yes, pray for the Hujjaj on that day. When you pray for the Hujjaj, you will automatically be part of their prayers as well. Yes, make dua for the Ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is such thing as a Hajj Badal as well, meaning if somebody cannot do Hajj ever in their life, then somebody can do Hajj on their behalf as well. Or if somebody was going on Hajj and something happened, they had an accident, they got ill and they can't do Hajj, then from the place that that person is in, he can send somebody forward and they can do Hajj on his behalf. Okay. Similarly, if somebody passed away and you want to do Hajj on their behalf, then that can also be done. We call this Hajj al-Badal. Okay. That's it.
Would the person that they send forward have already done their own Hajj?
This is debated if they have to have done their own Hajj or not. I believe is that Hajj Badal is more or less like a Isalu Sawab concept. So even if a person hasn't done his Fardhi Hajj, okay, he can still donate the reward to the person. Okay, that makes sense? Yeah. But some ulama say it's better for a person to have his own Hajj done before he does a Hajj Badal for somebody.
When you do the tawaf on there, can you make multiple intentions that you do it yourself and so
yes.
as well?
If you're doing your own Fardhi Hajj, then in that case you can make as much intentions as you like in terms of I'm doing it for so and so and so and so and so and so in terms of sawab though. Okay? Not on their behalf, not like in Hajj Badal that you're doing it on their behalf. In this one is in terms of sawab. Okay? But like I said, even in Hajj Badal, I believe the concept of Isali Sawab is there as well. Hence why it's also allowed for a person to do it who still hasn't done his own Fardhi Hajj. But what you're talking about is slightly different. Yours is just that you're doing your own, but in terms of the good deeds that you're doing, yes, you're rewarding the rewards of those good deeds to the deceased or even living for Dhamma. That's jais. Yes? That's it. Shall we stop? Finish? Shall we make dua? Inshallah. We make dua inshallah. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wal aqibatu lil muttaqin, was salatu was salamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma rabbana sami'na wa ata'na ghufranaka rabbana wa ilayka al-masir. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم يسر لنا أمورنا مع الراحة لقلوبنا وأبداننا والسلامة والعافية في ديننا ودنيانا. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة والفوز بالجنة والنجاة من النار. اللهم ربنا أذهب البأس رب الناس واشف أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم ارزقنا شهادة في سبيلك واجعل موتنا في بلد حبيبك وارزقنا زيارة نبيك وأمتنا على شوق لقائك وشوق لقاء حبيبك وأمتنا على عقائد أهل السنة والجماعة. ربنا تقبل منا واقبلنا بأسرار سورة الفاتحة. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. MashaAllah. Congratulations upon finishing Nur al-Ida and Bahari Shariat that we finished. Just the first section of it. It's a major thing to do in this day and age. For those of you not studying Dars Nizami. Just for general knowledge, it's a big thing for you to finish basic Aqidah and basic understanding of fiqh and sarf. Yes? He did a bit of sarf as well. Inshallah. Mom, sab, you okay?